All right, traders, George here, and time to talk a bit about auto trading and tuning your rule set and signals to profitability. Whether you're a DSR trader, auto trader, or just somebody out there watching this video, these concepts are universal. They're things that you can use. If you're trading just manually on whatever method you're using, these are still things that you can do. Just track your data, and then you're able to go in and pull this kind of information out. But I'll show you what to look for and how powerful that is. I've got the mini Russell up right here, and it's on a 500 tick chart, and I've got some of the cluster trader up on the chart itself. When we think about day trading, when we think about setups and signals, when we think about systems, when we think about auto trading, there's three basic parameters that we can adjust, three families. The first would be considering that we're looking at a market, we're going to think about the chart type and period value. Okay, so we're looking at the mini Russell here. Chart type is a tick, period value is 500. That's one aspect. Okay, the other is the actual indicator driven and any price driven signals that generate our rule set. So a black tip, big mo, what have you. The third component would be the time of day. From when to when are we trading? Adjusting those three areas are how you get your model and rule set to profitability. I'm doing a 2-contract strategy here. 18 tick stops, 18 tick target, 26 tick target, using stock black tip settings, no filter, and a 5-hour period in the morning here. This is Pacific time. The client I talked to was in Florida, and looking at this same period value here, or same period of time. That's why I've got this here. So just to give you an analogy of what we're covering, as this strategy goes, as I've spelled it out, mini Russell, tick chart 500, right? All that good stuff up there. I wonder what that's all about. Well, let's check it out. Got it right over here. How about a minus $2,320? 40% win ratio, 80%, 80 trades, and this is going back 3 weeks. So that might look pretty bad or maybe unusable, but that might not necessarily be the case. There could be something here that's worthwhile. One of the things that I want to look at is where the losses are. If I was able to trim these back, and it seems like there's quite a bit here on the short side, that would put this thing to profitability. I'd have to do quite a bit of work there. I mean, so this is giving me a little bit of a red flag because this one is so high. What this is doing here is it's showing that there's a lot more losses coming from the short side. Now these are the same setups and signals, it's just that the market is steamrolling these signals here. So if I'm getting a short signal, the market's just blowing right through it and taking out that stop. So there are some things that we can do to tighten that up. 40% win ratio is not so great, especially when you're in the red, and then 80 trades, we might be able to do better than that. So what don't we have going here? We don't have the Big Mo filter. That would help with the number of trades for sure. So my first thought is, why don't we use a filter there and leave everything the same? Now the 500 tick chart, that's going to take a lot of price action. You can see these big candles right here. It could take a bit of price action. By the time the signal fires off, you will have moved away from a more extreme point and maybe fading back to stop out. So those are some things that come to my mind, and thinking about reducing this quite a bit. We talked about going to the 150 tick chart because we wanted to see more signals actually, and we wanted to see how it correlates to the 150 because we use that on the DSR in the live room. So I went from being in the red over $2,000 to being in the black now with the same number of trades, and that really helped cure this issue over here. I was at minus 6,000 for the losing trades. Now I'm at minus 3, and I've actually trumped the long trades there. So that's a pretty nice turn of events. Let's take this another step further. That's still a few trades there, 80 trades. So I'm thinking about making those trades count. And what I mean by that is this filter value here is relatively large. It takes a bit of price action to move over the Big Mo and then fade back to start taking long signals above it, and likewise to the short side. So that traversing of the Big Mo could actually be some of the impulses that we want to capture that we're not going to if we use it there at that value. So what I'm thinking about, and what I mentioned was, hey, let's drop this down to a much lower value. We'll still get some filtration, but we'll be able to take more trend trades earlier. Okay, if you follow that. Everything else remains the same. Set it to true, okay, and go check it out. A lot easier than manually testing here. And so this is sort of interesting. It gave up some of the short gains. It put some gains on the long side. It's in the black right here, and it's reduced the number of trades by about 55 trades. That's helping out quite a bit. But it doesn't seem to be quite as nimble in terms of the profit generation here. So one of the things I thought about was, since we lowered the value for the filter by a pretty great amount, maybe we should lower the value here, because going from 233 to 55 is pretty big in terms of a percentage drop. So I just suggested, let's just go to a 75 tick here, which normally I wouldn't do. I normally wouldn't look at a 75 tick chart, but this is on an auto trade program and it's got a filter going. So a 75 tick chart, let me just make sure I've got this 21 days back. Now we've moved to 3,550 and we're getting real good gains on the long side, and gave up yet a little more gain here on the short side. So the earlier profitable setting showed more gains on the short side. This very profitable setting here showing more of the gains from the long side here. Short side was showing more earlier. Number of trades, 46. That's better than 80. Win percentage is almost up to 70 there. So this has gone into a real nice win percentage. Very easy to manage a number of trades, and you don't really need to do anything since it's an auto trader, but who wants to have a lot of trades, right? Well, 46 trades over 3 weeks, that's not too shabby. 35.50, that's fantastic expectancy. I mentioned there's some techniques here. Well, what I'm doing here you can do based on Excel. You just need to put your data into Excel if you don't have the cluster trader. But this information here is also real useful. So one of the things that we haven't looked at is time of day. So I want to go to distribution, go to half hour, and go to my entry time. And now I can see that the last hour of the morning here, not doing a whole bunch for profitability, and real early in the morning, definitely not helping me out. So in a worst case scenario, I'd want to look at trimming down the period of time here for trading. So let's do that right now. Strategies, set it to false. Here's this period of time. So he was starting at 4 in the morning my time, 7 Eastern. That's pretty darn early. So let's crank this up an hour to 5 a.m. Look at a 4-hour window there, ending at Chicago Merc lunch. So this is 11 Central, 12 noon Eastern for the end time. Apply, okay, and then false goes to true, okay, okay, and there's the new stuff, and there's 39.10, and my trades went down by 2. My profitability went up by about 2.5–3% there. So win, win, big win right there. So I took the seeds of a good idea for any market, some of the parameter values there, and just simply looked at what I was working with here and adjusted them until I got what I wanted to see. This is fantastic where it is right now. This is something I would start sim trading tomorrow, building further belief, and get ready to trade this thing live. This is about as good as you're going to see it. 3 weeks, $3,900, 44 trades, 72% win ratio. Keep on top of drawdowns here when you have the days that are moving down. How much loss did you get out of them? And then for your trades, profit and losses, same stop values for the trader and scalper here. So that's why these dots don't look like there's a lot. They're doubled up. The next leg is to look to see if you're giving up too much on the losses here, or if you could tighten them up or pull them back and let them run a bit more. This looks really good up here. Off and running. So the 3 areas to adjust: chart type and period value, time of day, and then your actual indicator signals, your chart-driven signals. Those 3 camps adjusted until you get what you need to see. And it doesn't mean you're going to get that tomorrow or the next week, but that's what's been happening. Look to the prior price action, monitor that going forward, start sim trading it to build that belief so that when you're ready to go, you have no trepidation about pulling the trigger and letting this thing run. It's an auto trader, so you don't second guess when these signals fire off. We'll be talking about this more in the live room tomorrow. We're going to do training on this on Friday. That'll do it for now. We'll see you tomorrow.